when you leave a leaf in full sunlight, it receives a huge amount of energy, and the leaf, in order to cope with the energy excess that it's receiving, changes pigments. The plant is not necessarily drying out. What the plant is doing is change pigments, because yellow pigments, carotenoids, can dissipate energy excess as heat. So if it receives too much sunlight, they have a mechanism to survive, to cope with the overdose of sunlight. So my name is Almudena Romero, and I'm an artist working with photography mainly. And my work kind of researches the spaces and forms that photography can take. And the research that I'm doing now, it's more related to sustainable photographic forms and materials. I use a picture frame, like the standard 1 pound picture frame. And then what I do is that I clip together an image that I have printed on my printer. It's a home printer, and I put together the board, then the leaf, then the image printed, and then the glass, and I kind of sandwich everything together with a lot of pressure and put it to the sunlight. So what happens is the light passes through the paper, and the areas that have more ink, the areas that are black, protect the chlorophyll pigments, protect the green pigments. So the areas that are black in my image will be black on the final leaf, and the areas that are white or transparent let the light pass through, and that bleaches the chlorophyll pigments, that forces the pigment change. So the clear areas of my image are the clear areas of the final print. Growing concerns draws a parallel between how movement of goods and capitals have historically been facilitated, while there is more and more restriction for movement of people, and the growing interest to increase these restrictions because of nationalist and populist movements. And it actually started, I went to Covent Garden Market in Vauxhall, and it shocked me the amount of plants and roses and flowers that are imported on a daily basis, while people from the countries where those plants are grown face incredibly complicated barriers. So for instance, in Covent Garden we import flowers from Colombia and South Africa on a daily basis. However, a Colombian person to travel to the UK, it's an incredibly complicated process. So it was that vision of traffic that motivated me to do the work. But on the other side, it allowed me to talk about many other aspects linked to migration, the colonial agenda, and how plants actually supported the development of that. Some of the images are migrants that have made like iconic contributions. So one of them is Maria Idrissi, which is the first hijab Muslim model, British model. And what I like from her is that at the age of 22, instead of accommodating the way she looks to fit in the fashion industry, she has told the fashion industry to accommodate her views on herself. So all of this research on organic materials and chlorophyll and how chlorophyll bleaches and all the pigments is actually a 19th century research. So it's the beginning of color photography. Back in the 19th century, John Herschel and other scientists like Mary Somerville, they were researching how could they print images in color, and they were already doing experiments on plant leaves and using photosynthesis to produce images. People like me who are interested in analog photography, we don't really have the choice. We have to look for more sustainable materials because photographic chemistry, it's quite aggressive to the environment. So if we want to have a sustainable practice, if we want to be artists or photographers in 15 years, we have to move towards sustainable materials. Like, it's a need that we have right now, because in few decades, it might be the only way of having physical images. Like, the truth is that we now have to finally or fully develop a research that started in the 19th century, that it wasn't fully developed because back then it wasn't priority, but today it is. And there are several of us pushing to finish this research because our needs have changed.